Hi guys, it's Brother Paul here. I'm here to do the part 2 dream I had in 182 there. This will be called the wedding dream. And I'll just go right into it. So I'll quickly go through the words so you know what I'm talking about. I wrote, wedding dinner got picked up, brought to father's house of groom. I met the bride, talked about details. I was upset. They didn't want to get married in a church. I told them what's wrong with the father's house. Everyone left early. Took elevator up. They had their own rides. Me and my wife needed a ride. I needed to go to the washroom. The groom thought it was funny to interrupt me. Bride had everything planned out and spoke about butting heads about details. So I'm going to go right into this one. And actually, I got a little story before. Last week, I found it very weird. In all the times I've done these dreams interpretations, I've never been told to hold off. And I'm not even going to get into how this was revealed to me, but I basically was only told to put one last week. And I've since seen it was specifically for 2-3 people. And this one was told I wasn't supposed to put it out. So last week and this week, I went out on 2 social events. And I rarely go out anymore. I'm trying to stay away from that. It always leads to temptation and stuff. So last week I went out with friends for something to eat, and we were watching a live sporting event. And both of them had called me to tell me they needed to talk about something. And when we got there, they didn't want to open up. And what was shown to me throughout this evening was the sadness out there. So much so that I went outside at one point with a friend of mine who had a cigarette, and we were talking to strangers, and this one older man, probably close to 70, revealed to me that, his wife had passed, and he was so sad. And I turned around and I said, you're looking at it the wrong way. Like, you should be celebrating all the time you had with her, and you were blessed, And I got him away from thinking about the sadness, and I showed him how to look at it positively. And my 2 friends that didn't want to open up, even though this is what they asked me to go out with, were kind of happy to hear me say something like that, because in both their situations, they were looking at it wrong. That was last week. And then yesterday I went to a pro hockey game, Winnipeg Jets versus Philadelphia Flyers. And this is something I had planned with a very good friend of mine, like pretty much at the beginning of the season. And even though it's weird, I don't even really want to go. I only got these tickets for my kids and their friends. I've lost all interest in going to these. But we went. We had dinner and we went to the game. And on many occasions, I spoke to him about God, Jesus, bringing him into his life, taking care of his sadness, looking away from depression, all sorts, too many things to name. But this time I never brought it up once. And the nice thing was, I kept it light, and he brought it up many times. So I think God made me hold back to go through those 2 experiences to reveal how and what I'm going to say now. So I'll just get right into the wedding dream. So again, if this is the first time you're watching this video, this is the second dream in video 182, and this one's the wedding dream. So wedding was a Proverbs 18:22. He finds a wife, finds what is good, and receives favor from the Lord. Number 2 was dinner. Luke 14:12-14. He said also to the man who had invited him, when you give a dinner or a banquet, do not invite your friends or your family or your brothers or your relatives or your rich neighbors, lest they also invite you in return so that you be repaid. But when you give a feast, invite the poor, the crippled, the lame, the blind, and you will be blessed, because they cannot repay you, for I will repay you in the resurrection of the just. Number 3, I was looking for picked up. I found God riding, which was a Deuteronomy 33:26. There is none like unto the God of Jeshurun, who rideth upon the heaven in thy help, and in his excellency on the sky. Number 4 was Father's house, John 14:2. In my Father's house are many rooms, and if it were not so, would I have told you that I go to prepare a place for you? Number 5 was Bride of Christ, Isaiah 54:5. For thy Maker is thine husband, the Lord of hosts is his name, and thy Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel, the God of the whole earth, shall be called. Number 6 was talked about details, which ended up being small things, which was a Luke 16:10. One who is faithful in that which is least is faithful also in much, and he that is unjust in the least is unjust also in much. And that's very true. Number 7 was upset about getting married in a church, which was a 1 Corinthians 6:9-10. Know ye not that the unrighteous shall not inherit the kingdom of God? Be not deceived in their fornications, nor idolaters, nor adulterers, nor effeminate, nor abusers of themselves with mankind, nor thieves, nor covetous, nor drunkards, nor revilers, nor extortioners shall inherit the kingdom of God. And what did I write here? I can't even read my writing. Hang on a sec here. Oh, a Twitter scam. I'll get back to that at the end. This is about this. Anyway, so what's wrong with the Father's house? It was number 8. 1 Corinthians 14:33. For God is not the author of confusion, but of peace, as in all churches of the saints. Number 9, took an elevator up. God lifting people was a 2 Kings 2:1. And it came to pass when the Lord would take up Elijah into heaven by a whirlwind that Elijah went with Elisha with Gilgal. Number 10 was they had their own ride, Isaiah 51:23. But I will put it into the hands of that afflict thee, which have said it to thee, soul, bow down that we may go over, and thou hast laid thy body as the ground, and as the street to them that went over. Number 11 was needed a ride, which was a Psalm 68:33. To him that rideth upon the heavens of heavens, which were of old, lo, he doeth send out his voice, and that a mighty voice. I can't wait for that ride. That voice, the sound of the shofar, or the archangels yelling. I can't wait. Going to the bathroom ended up being urinating. 2 Kings 18:27. But Shabshakeh said unto them, hath my master sent me to thy master, and to thee to speak to these words? Hath he not sent me to the men who sit on the wall, that they may eat their own dung and drink their own urine with you? Number 13. See, this one was an interesting one because I had to split it. It was written, groom thought it was funny, but I couldn't find it in any way that way, so I had to break it up into 2. And I found bride's groom, which was a Matthew 25:1. Then shall the kingdoms of heaven be likened unto 10 virgins, which took their lamps and went forth to meet the bridegroom. And there was a second one, Revelation 19:9, just popped out at me. And he saith unto me, right, blessed are they which are called upon the marriage supper of the Lamb. And he saith unto me, these are the true sayings of God. I'll get into that after. Number 14 was, thought it was funny. And this was a Psalms 37:12-13. 12:13. The wicked plotteth against the lust, and the gnashing upon him with his teeth. The Lord shall laugh at him, for he seeth that his day is coming. Jesus is coming. And I put some side notes here. I'll get back to this after. Number 16 was the bride being prepared, was a Matthew 24:44. Therefore you must be ready, for the Son of Man is coming at an hour you do not expect. And there was a second one, 1 Corinthians 16:13. Be watchful, stand firm in the faith, act like men, be strong. And finally, 17 spoke about butting heads about details, was what I was looking for. And I found in Ephesians 4:29, let no corrupting talk come out of your mouths, but only such as is good for building up, as fits the occasion, that it may give grace to those who hear. And I also wrote this in the King James Version. I wanted to make a comparison here. The King James Version says, let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good, to the use of edifying, that it may be minister grace onto the heavens. Onto the hearers of who you're talking. So I'm going to re-say the definition of edify. Edify is to instruct or improve someone morally or intellectually by your message. Don't lie. Give true statements, even if it seems harsh, but do so in a manner that is acceptable to the listener. So I put a couple of side notes on here. I don't want to make this video too long, but I think the reason God, for me, and I want to say up front, this is for more than me, but there was two little interesting notes I put on the side as I was writing this. For I thought it was funny, I wrote the Jets game and the sadness of my friends. The Lord showed me how people are, especially in this time of Noah, they're going about their business like, these are the things that are so incredible and so amazing, and they supposedly find happiness. And I was watching two friends, they were filling their time. They weren't enjoying it, they were filling their time. Be careful how you fill your time. And then another one I wrote was interrupted. This was an interesting one because on two occasions recently, my older self, I used to watch horror movies all the time. They used to terrify me. And it's funny, there was two types. There was the ones that were like nothing ones, and you'd watch it and you're like, this is boring. And then there were the ones that would scare me, and I didn't know why. Well, I know now because I got Jesus in my temple. And when they were real, he didn't like it. So be careful how you fill your time. This is very important, especially in the day we're living in. Use your time wisely. Like, if you're going to use your time with God, do it wisely. And if you're going to talk about God to somebody, do it in a light manner, very light manner. Do not turn anyone away from the gospel. Anyway, I hope this is what somebody's looking for. I don't know why. I know why he did it to me, but he also made me wait for some reason. So here's the video. I love you guys. Jesus loves you more. I hope you get a lot out of this. Okay, bye.